Sega wanted Genesis to be an arcade machine brought to the home. They loved making arcade-like experiences for the thing, but what happens when a character made for consoles comes to arcades? Let's go through all, or at least a good amount of, Sonic's arcade appearances from the 90s. First up is Waku Waku Sonic Patrol Car. In this game we see Sonic take the role of a police officer, because yeah, that's the first thing I think of when I think of Sonic. Law enforcement. This game is really weird. We start off on the left side of the road, and the goal seems to be to avoid hitting any cars, but the cars are all on the right side of the road, so why don't I just not move? After a while, Robotnik, or Eggman I guess, since this only released in Japan, shows up and throws bombs at you. Dodge for a while and hit him a couple times, and the game ends. I just don't get this game. D tier. SEGASonic Popcorn Shop is the first of what I like to call the SEGASonic trilogy of arcade games. This will most likely be the least interesting thing I talk about in this entire video. It's essentially just a popcorn machine on a display. Pick your popcorn and match button have Sonic run for Mega Man. This has the complexity of a Mario Party minigame. Shout out to the American Winners Don't Do Drugs message in a Japanese only release. C tier. In SEGASonic Cosmo Fighter, we see Sonic going into a spaceship to participate in Baby's first bullet hell against Eggman. You know what? Sure, why not? These arcade games haven't been that interesting to talk about so far, so they might as well get a bit silly with it. The game itself is actually pretty fun. It's not anything incredible, like most of these. There's no way to fail, and you are just hitting the shoot button, but it feels like I can fail, and that's the difference that makes this game. The boss against Eggman is actually pretty cool. Instead of Eggman just throwing bombs at you from a car, it's this cool space mech with multiple parts. I can't believe I'm saying this, but B tier. Oh yeah, now this is a game. Sonic the Hedgehog sees the debut of Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. They, along with Sonic, have been captured by Eggman, who's pretty much out for blood in this game. It's actually the first game you can lose in, and lose you shall. This is a quarter eater. You'll die a lot, and there's not much you can do about it. I won't go into each level one by one, because they're all pretty similar. Just get to the end while absolute carnage is being thrown your way. 7 entire levels is nothing to scoff at, especially for an arcade game, but there's an air of bullshit that I can't quite get rid of playing this game. Like I said, it's a quarter eater, so good design is often sacrificed for the sake of difficulty. C tier. And that's where we'll end things. Sonic had one more major arcade release, but I'm saving that for its own dedicated video. These games are weird, man. You can't lose in most of them, and all of them have some weird, near impossible to emulate control function. Waku Waku and Cosmo Fighter were physical rides I got into. Popcorn Shop was essentially an interactive popcorn machine, and SEGASonic utilized a trackball. I try my best to replicate the experience, but my rankings might not be entirely accurate to the quality of the game. Regardless, I can't imagine they would go very high, even if I did have the proper control schemes. Most of them are just way too short, even for arcade games. Plus, the experience feels a bit hollow when it's impossible to lose. They're fun in a retrospective sense, but I will be surprised if I ever go back to any of these games.